The best kept secret in wrestling podcast is back. Episode 130 of the TFW podcast. That's freaking wrestling. We're going to talk some freaking wrestling. Of course, I wanted to talk some draft, but if WWE is going to mail it in, I'm mailing it in. I said it on Friday. I thought they were going to course correct on Monday. They didn't. Eshaun, Rhodesia's in the house. Matt's in the house. Eve, you know we got to follow up with you. Got to find out how this anniversary dinner was. But before we get to that, we got to start with some wrestling. All right, so let's start with some wrestling. I don't have anything for the draft. All right, what I have is I love seeing the NXT call-ups. Ilya knew he was getting called up. That was a no-brainer. He even acted like it, which is good, right? But the girls didn't know. And who else got called up yesterday? Who was the second call-up? It was Dragunov.
Rhodesia has the list.
Blair Davenport.
Blair Davenport. Yep, you could tell she was completely shocked. So I loved seeing that. I thought that was fantastic. Shout out to the NXT. You could give me that for like 3 hours now. I would enjoy watching that. Other than that, I don't care how you slice it. I don't care how you dice it. This draft wasn't it. It wasn't. Do y'all have any thoughts differently than mine's on what the WWE did with the draft this year?
I came in here prepared. Like, we were about to enter the draft season. I wasn't able to go back home to Detroit for the real NFL draft. And evidently, R-Truth and I are kind of aligned there. I came here, I'm like, I'm ready to talk about the draft. This is what we have. This is what we have. This is going on to the new season, the new future. I'm like, let me be dialed in, pay attention to everybody. But if this wasn't the most boring, anticlimactic, inconsequential, I don't know any other superlatives I could use. What? So the silver lining, we got some extra minutes and some extra shine on our NXT people. Other than that, I felt like this was just a waste of time, and these are two complete throwaway shows. Yes, we had some story progression, but just overall, it was just like, wow. Okay. But I guess last year in the draft, our gripes was they had a great draft, but never stuck to the actual draft because people were showing up everywhere. So at this point, if we have to start saying that they got to take an L somewhere, them and their drafts, the last 2 years has just been L's.
Yeah, it could have been a little more hoopla on the drafts. You know, it was, you look at the roster, it was like half stayed, half transferred. We had a couple signings. As far as the overall draft excitement, they should probably do something to shake it up next year. But as Rhodesia said, we got some storyline progression, which is pretty cool on the show. Got a couple of feuds continuing. They have small nuggets. They had, Liv leaving a locker room, and then moments later, here come Dominic, and this is happening like in a rear view of an interview, right? Not like those little small things he kind of add to different interview segments to kind of add like little Easter eggs, something you kind of pay attention to. So as far as overall, they have some story building because Raw overall is a 3-hour show, and so it's going to be kind of a slow burn. But I definitely would like them to do something with the overall draft. But you think about the actual rosters themselves. I mean, they weren't broken. Like, they didn't need to add and do too many things. They seem like they have their stars kind of established, and they kind of just was switching out some of the utility players. But I don't know what they can do for it next year, right? Because I don't think they necessarily need to turn the rosters upside down because they thriving, right? They got their stars on each shows. They kind of have some stories they want to progress. I like to maybe see something more with the NXT type of a draft, some prizes that way, because it's kind of run of the mill. You kind of expect things to happen the way they happen.
You're right. Like, all the heavy hitters for the most part. I think maybe Nia went to SmackDown. Braun ended up coming to Raw. But for the most part, you're right. The main players, they're where they're at. And then your utility players is the ones who have moved over.
Then don't say we're shaking everything up then. Don't say this is where it all begins again. Don't give me that. Don't show that promo. Yeah. That's my issue with it. Is, okay, I've been loving the product. I don't give a damn if you never do another draft. That's how I feel about it.
Right.
But don't come on here and hype it up. And then also don't come on here and poor Ava from NXT cuts a promo Friday night and said, at the end of the draft, NXT is never going to be the same. Well, maybe because they gutted your talent, you're never going to be the same. They didn't get one person from what I know. And I thought they originally said NXT. I
It's
thought
in the
they said they had
colors.
4 picks.
Okay, I don't
that
remember
they
if there
were
was a
getting-
quantity.
I guess maybe they were just like, no, there's 4 people were taken from their roster. They're not getting anybody.
4 picks from NXT.
So I was
From.
confused by that. I was confused by all the whoever, right? They're on the same brand. Drew McIntyre to Monday Night Raw. Oh, great pick. Oh, great pick. No, it's not a great pick. He was already there.
But they did try to clean it up afterwards.
Yeah, they tried to clean it up afterwards. And I'm
They
just
said,
like,
well, you
are
gotta
we
keep your
doing
talent
this
you
like
have.
on the fly? Like what would be cool to see going forward is because they really leaned into the GMs keeping their picks. CM Punk, oh man, you know, it's not all about who you take, it's about who you keep. Cool. It should be something with that though, going forward. If they're going to continue to make a draft a thing, who knows? Maybe Triple H may say, you know what? Maybe we completely just do away with the draft. Maybe we figure out another way to move some people over. Maybe we do a couple trades, and maybe it's not a draft. Maybe it's just a trade thing. That would be cool. Like, that would get me excited if we see them do trades. But to do a draft, and the majority of them are people we're keeping, that's not a draft. That's not how drafts work.
And then
Like,
another
it was just kind of like, yeah, it was kind of just like,
these
all right.
mofos in the boardrooms. So again, let me stop right there real quick on that comment.
And we already spent more time on this than what they did on the draft. So
listen,
I'm done. I am done talking about it at this point. Y'all can finish.
I am going to finish this.
I see.
It's called the monster room, the green room, the black room. I forgot what it's called at this point because it completely just
war room.
War room. The war room.
The monster room.
Whatever. These war rooms, they could not have been staged even more unbelievable. Like, are we serious right here? We could have had little kids in there acting like, yeah, hell yeah, we got that pick. I'm coming from the Detroit Lions. I'm coming from the Detroit Lions.
Tony Khan would never do that, Eshaun.
All our big guys. Where is my
Tony Khan got on national TV Friday and talked about Harvey Weinstein. He would not go out here. He would do a big announcement and say, my big announcement is the announcement of the draft of Dynamite and Rampage. It would have been better than what WWE gave us on Friday and Monday. And and Chris Bush, man, let me tell you something about you. You are the biggest AEW hater. Bush always in the comments on YouTube. Shout out to Bush. Bush know I love him. But he always in the comments on YouTube, right? No matter what AEW does, it's the worst thing in the world. No matter what WWE does, great. Oh man, it's the best thing since sliced bread. I told Bush, I said, look, if AEW did the same thing WWE's doing, you would be shitting on them all the time right now.
What'd he say?
Bush ain't respond. Bush ain't said nothing. That draft was not good. But to E's point, I don't need it to be good. I'm good with where they are. Like, I think Triple H has done a fantastic job of already slotting people where they need to be. And I'm sure he's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
My only thing is then figure out someone to draft. Just don't promote the draft then. But what I was saying with if we keep somebody, so say like, all right, Adam Pearce selects to keep CM Punk, then maybe SmackDown gets 2 draft picks. Like it should be a penalty for keeping your talent. And whatever that penalty may be, they can mess with that. They can play with that. But that could be fun too. So then it's like, okay, who do you really value? Is Punk worth 2 picks? Is Jey Uso worth 2 picks? Is Drew McIntyre worth 2 picks? Or is it, hey, I just hope they don't select that said person?
I kind of really feel like the thing is that, like I said, like they just recently slotted these characters and storylines recently, right? Really in the past 90 days or so, right? So you got to kind of give the story and the talent time to kind of flesh out. It just comes in a bad timing to where, or they got a draft. All right, I'm not ready to move the big talent just yet, right? So how can I spice up that draft to kind of make it more interesting versus, you know, in every round, like half the picks, I would say 90% of the picks, they're staying pat, which it kind of makes sense, you know, to the show. I think next year, they should probably add some things to it, like penalties, whatever. I think this next year, that's when you're going to see more of a shakeup, like, right? Because more things have played out over the course of the year, right? You see, a Punk would have been on Raw for a full year now, right? He hasn't really even been on the show probably for the past couple months, right? He's had injury. He just popped up in November. Like, right, like Drew is finally just re-signed. You know, I'm pretty sure he's probably a multi-millionaire right now or something like that. Yep, so they know what he was doing with him. So now, okay, cool. We keeping him. We got some slots and things we're going to do for him. I think next year is going to be the time you're going to see more flip-flopping. They'll probably see something going on with the championship titles, things of that nature. So I think as far as spicing it up, I think next year will be the year after they've had a whole year with the current roster, because it's going to need that freshen up.
My last thing on this, and this for real last thing on the draft picks. I think maybe I held them to just a higher standard, because if we think about a draft, and I know in the past what the draft has been in WWE, but a draft is usually drafting rookies or, people coming into the league. So our takeaway was that we noticed that there was a lot of NXT movement. Okay, I guess they actually achieved their goal of a draft in that sense. In football, or in basketball, you have free agency for people who've already been seasoned and veterans to move around. To me, maybe just at the origins of the word as a draft, maybe they did accomplish what they wanted to do. But for me, as a fan who was actually looking for a shakeup, because you said, hey, nothing's going to be the same, everything's going to be shooken up. Not really.
And I
You had
saw
some flat ass pop that you shook up. There's no bubbles there.
Ain't no bubbles when the pop is flat. The pot is flat. You might as well just pour it down that drain. It's over.
Hey, actually, low key, nothing is the same. Because Nia Jax's going on SmackDown. It's not the same. We got a whole new show.
And there was some changes.
We got Shinsuke. Cutting anime promos for a whole new roster.
That's when
look. It's never gonna be the same on these shows.
That's when I knew this shit had jumped the shark. When they announced Shinsuke is being drafted, I was like, okay, I'm really, really over it now.
10 new people to go over.
Oh man,
I was so over it. I didn't even pay attention to the supplemental draft. I don't know one person outside of Dijak who was signed after the show went off the air. Rhodesia, I know you have the full list. Do you have just the people who were signed after the show went off the air?
No, but I can go off who I think was signed after the air.
Just give us who it was.
Let's go with the OC.
And where are they?
SmackDown. So this is SmackDown.
All right, so
this
that
is
didn't
the one
change.
that I'm not used to.
Do me a favor. No, this is what we're going to do. We're going to test your knowledge, Rhodesia.
Okay.
Only give us the names of people that changed brands.
Oh, man.
DIY.
That poor woman.
No, we knew that already.
Blair Davenport.
Yeah, I only need the people who were in the supplemental.
Giovanni.
That's all I need.
Vinci.
Oh, so he's still around.
I can name it off.
Yeah,
I just don't watch the show intently every week. I know what's going on. I have a pulse on this whole industry, okay? Or as a fan, I have a pulse on this whole industry, okay? All right.
You hear that?
Thank you.
Okay. Speaking of Giovanni,
I'm gonna help you out, Rhodesia. We got New Catch Republic is on Raw now.
Yes, they are on Raw.
Okay.
I'm looking at Raw, so they're not Raw. You said Dijak already.
Yep.
You got the Final Testament.
Yep, they went to Raw.
I'm not on that side of the list. Okay, but I'll go on that side. LWO, right?
Yeah.
No, they were announced. I'm talking about only the people that was, because you watched the show. You just said you're dialed in. You said your fingers on the pulse.
Kaden,
so that means you know everybody.
Kaden and Katana.
Who? Yeah, they were the last ones. They were
Odyssey
Mr. and
Jones.
Mrs. Irrelevant.
Oh, were they?
But you said drafted to the show, though, right?
That was
I'm guessing they went to SmackDown, right?
No, they went to Raw.
No, they're still on Raw.
So you just failed. Thank you. I just wanted to prove that you don't actually watch.
No, because we're talking about two different sets of things here. Whatever.
So
I'm not wasting my time no more on the draft.
I'm over
Elba Fire and Isla Dawn also.
And they're on Raw because they were on SmackDown
now.
Kind of,
they
right?
were on SmackDown. Kind of.
Well, not really. No, they also showed up on Raw before.
They never used them.
They showed up on Raw before.
Yeah,
but they were assigned to SmackDown, though. They were assigned to SmackDown.
Okay. But yeah, they went to there.
Let's talk about something more entertaining. You brought up Giovanni. Ludwig Kaiser. And Tiffany Stratton, they're dating. Because Tiffany was on, she had some interview. And she said that they played a game of, I think, rock, paper, scissors. And the loser had to ask the other one out on a date. And I guess Kaiser lost and asked Tiffany Stratton out on a date, which is a fire thing. Like, hey, however you get it, you get it. But Rhodesia, let me ask you, what is the weakest pickup line or thing somebody has done to try to holler at you or get at you? And you can even include me in it. I don't think I've done anything weak because my game is impeccable. But I may have done something back in the day where you were like, oh, that was like so weak, but it was kind of cute.
I think I am going to use you as the weakest one. So Matt, we all know that Matt's a ham. Matt, he gets that attention. He demands attention. And so we meet. I'm not gonna say kind of the lyrics, the words we said, because we still have a young child. I don't want him to hear him. I don't want him to hear what I said to you. But he picks me up off the street. We're driving. He hit me with a line. All right, what you about to get into?
You said I picked you up off the street like you were a street walker.
No, I said
like
we
you
were driving.
a
So we were driving. We were driving.
Okay.
I'm in my car with my girls. You were in your car with your guys. Pull over. Yeah, hey, what's your name? My name is Matt. I'm Rhodesia. You may even ask me how old I was at that time, but you were like, okay. He's like, what you about to do?
That.
I
That's a
said,
whole nother podcast.
I said what I said. I said, I'm about to go do something. He said, all right, you want to switch numbers? Yep. He's like, all right, bye. And that was it. This mofo had me pull over with me and my girls. We ready to go hanging, loitering downtown Detroit.
God bless.
Pulls me
have
over.
A good time.
He said, God, after you got my phone number, all right, have a good night.
Yeah, I'll call you later. We're done.
I'm like,
any guy knows, and we had just got downtown. E, you can speak to this. When you are in that mode with your guys, you find an attractive young lady, as Rhodesia is. Job's done for right now. This is not a, hey, let's hang out later on tonight. No, we just got downtown. We got a long night ahead of us. This is, okay, thank you, appreciate you. Phone number goes in the pocket. You go on about your day. I'll talk to you maybe in 48 to 72 hours. That's how it goes.
Hey, E, the actual interaction, it took me longer to pull over to go into a parking spot and then pull out than the actual conversation that he and I had.
Hey,
but I got time, man.
Though. He did his thing though. Hey, back in the day, we used to go downtown to Belle Isle and get them. Hey, you had to get in and get out, right? Because I had, I got to get multiple numbers, right? I can't just stick and talk to you for a minute, right? I need to go get. Saying. You know what I would hate, Matt, at the end of the night, man. Sometimes, I'll have like those, because we didn't have the phones back in the day, right? So we had to we had numbers actually on paper.
Yep.
Man, I would get home sometimes and I couldn't call none of the chicks because I didn't know who was who.
That's why you had to write a nickname on a piece of paper.
I see. Damn it, I never picked that up.
You had to keep a pen in your.
I needed you back in the day.
In your center council, man. And you know what I'm talking about? Long hair, curly, light skin, dark skin, whatever, right? You had to just, or typically what my move was where I met him at. It was a ton of Kmart.
Kmart.
It was a ton of Coney
Big
Island.
K or Super K?
It was Denny's. It was Red Lobster. Because I don't
first
have
off,
time.
You had a lot of Red Lobsters, but all right. What did you have me down for? What'd you have me down for?
I had you down as the woman that's going to change my life forever.
Like the draft.
There you go. There you go.
That's what I had.
Hey, Saraya. See, Matt does have a little bit of game. A little bit of game.
Speaking of game, all right, brother. Tell us. So Sunday's pod, you was getting ready, which we actually did on Saturday. Shout out to everybody that listened to the pod. We got some good feedback from that show too. You told us you was 16 years, right? 16 year wedding anniversary with Katrina. Yep. We had a couple photos from that night you sent to the group chat. Y'all looking all good, look like you're smelling good. So how'd it go?
Oh, it was a good night. It was really ain't a whole lot to say. Had nice dinner, nice food. I had me a little drink. I should have hit up Yusuf on Twitter and send that SOS out again, because I had this. I don't even know what I was drinking. It was like a lady said. It's like I need something sweet. You know, Big Daddy like it sweet. So I was thirsty at the time. I took like a gump of this stuff, and I'm like, "Woo, this is hot." And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's a sipping drink. You sip that." I'm like, "Well, thank you." Right. So then here it is. Literally 5 minutes later, I'm out of it. So all the pictures of me in these. My eyes are so small and all of these things. I'm just going off this little gump of stuff. But it was a good night. Came home, did what grown folks do. Capped off the night.
How was your ankles?
Okay, I remember.
Were they moisturized? Were your ankles?
Oh, the ankles. Oh yeah, man. So here's the thing though. I didn't have the time to actually tailor the pants. Right, so they wasn't really shining the way I wanted them to shine. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. It's like one of the pictures I had to kind of lift the leg up. I had to lift it up, a little bit, so you could see a little bit. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. To be honest with you, I had to think about the ankles. What happened with my ankles?
Y'all freaky.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
He wanted them ankles touched. Is what he wanted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Baby oil, I think.
No,
he wanted them ankles baby oil.
Tyler has sent us a message on Facebook. He was talking about when we talk about the Young Bucks and Young Buck from G Unit. Tyler gonna have a nerve to ask me. Now, if anybody knows me, I am a massive 50 Cent G-Unit fan, right? Like 50 is like one of my goals in just life. Of course, Cash Money, Wayne, talked about that already. Cash Money for the 99 2000. Tyler's like, were you a Lloyd Banks guy? I had to tell Tyler, like, where I'm from. I had every single colored G-Unit shirt. Rhodesia can attest to this. Any color shirt they made, I had it.
And
I didn't have all the shoes.
Yes, you
I didn't
did.
have all
You
of
had
them,
like-
though.
you
There
had
was
like
like some of
6
the
of
brown
them.
ones.
Oh,
I didn't have that. But I told him about when I was in Vegas and 50 did his concert for Curtis, like an album release concert. And I like snuck like backstage. That's when I met Chris Lighty. He looked at me like, man, what you doing back here? But I played, I was cool. I played off like, I gave him, the bro hug and just said, man, like, appreciate you. Shout out to Chris Lighty. Rest in peace. But yes, I am all about the G-Unit. The G-Unit. And then actually Tyler just responded and said, I got to hear more next time we link. He said, I had the Reebok joints. He knows.
yeah.
Tyler knows
all
about
that.
him. He knows about it.
Matt, one got to go, Matt. Cash Money or G-Unit?
Ooh.
Give it to him.
Ooh.
Rhodesia, you too. One got to go.
It's not a Cash Money will leave.
Damn.
G-Unit again, 50 Cent.
Ooh.
That
Because you was hot on Cash Money.
Man,
I
I was about to
G-Unit,
say,
right?
it was
You
either
know,
it was
like,
either
that
it was
was-
either
I mean, you was hot on
Cash
the Cash
Money
Money.
or No Limit. That was, you had to pick one. No Limit or Cash Money, and I was a No Limit person to start with, and then I met Matt and fell in love with Cash Money. But on this
Damn.
side of it, absolutely G-Unit, and it's 50. But I
But
love
you
all
talking
of
about
them.
No Wayne, though. You talking about No Wayne? Like, Wayne is a legend. Like, that means
He is
we're
a
not getting
legend.
none of the Carters.
Mhm.
Like, you can maybe get away with No Juvie. Back That Ass Up is a gospel type
in
song
this household,
in the clubs and in our household. Oh, that's a hard one, bro. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey, you met BG back in the
Damn,
day,
dude.
right?
You said what?
You met BG back in the day, right? BG?
No, I didn't meet BG.
You never met BG?
I remember we called Lil Wayne. We talked to
and how
Turk.
did you?
That was
And
funny.
do tell how that happened. I like for you to your little one. You run across the freeways, and then let's self-incriminate on how you call away.
I think he heard this story, but like we knew some girls, and we told them to like go, like connect with Cash Money, and then find out what hotel room they was in, and we was gonna call them. And they did it, and they got back with us and gave us the hotel room. We had the hotel rooms of everybody. We knew the room BG was in, Wayne was in, which also afterwards I was like, that's not like safe.
That's
Now,
not
granted, I'm
safe
sure
at
they
all.
had security, of course, but I mean, we called Wayne, and Wayne was so young at this time, so this was probably legit like 99, 2000. When we called him, he was asleep. He was like, whatever. But yeah, he was asleep. Turk was in the bathroom. He probably was like shooting up heroin because he was a drug addict. We didn't know at the time. They say he was in the bathroom with it. That's what he said. He said he in the bathroom with it. Call back. He didn't call back.
In a bad truth.
You know what, man? I may have to go with Cash Money because Cash Money was like what I didn't wear nothing but Jabot jeans,
And
white
tees.
tees, and I had like 5 chains. Like that was Cash Money. So 50 wasn't around like that early. Like 50 is like my adult time. Like the Cash Money was like, that you're about to be an adult, like you still got your license and you're still going out to have a good time. But that's a good one. Nobody's ever asked me that one. Who would you pick?
I would. It would be Cash Money. I was a bigger G-Unit fan of Cash Money. I mean, I like the songs that was hot back in the day. But I think for me, like G-Unit was like one of the thing for me. Like them 50 Cent albums, the first couple ones. G-Unit
Permanent on Sight.
album.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm about to get hype right now. Hold up.
Man.
Let me calm down.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Lloyd had a couple of hot ones, man. And then, like the short stint that what's my man?
Young
Hey,
Buck?
the Love the Underdogs on top.
Oh, Game.
Game.
Yeah.
The game, like them couple of songs he had with 50. I don't know why he was mad at 50, man. Cause them
The
songs
documentary was
that
a
he was
classic
on,
album, boy.
like that. Yo, so like
They would love it.
They
This
was
is how we
killing it.
do.
They were killing it.
And we're
Classic.
not
Should've
even
went
talking
triple.
about the mixtapes of G-Units. All who care.
The G-Unit radio?
Come on.
Can't forget who can.
Okay.
All right, enough of that. We can talk about
Sorry,
music all
y'all.
day.
Sorry. y'all.
Sorry, yeah. Hopefully, anybody who only watches wrestling are bad. Don't leave. Come back. Come back. We're done now. So he talked about it. Drew resigned. Clap it up for that. It was funny. Rock had put it out on Instagram like Saturday night, like 10:30 at night, of a photo of him presenting, or actually a video of them presenting Drew with a sword out to dinner, saying I'm a man of my word, et cetera, et cetera. That's not what I want to talk about. As you can see, I'm not really here to talk about anything serious. But did y'all see the report that came out today? I think Deadline.com reported it, that The Rock
about The Rock
pisses in water bottles on movie sets and shows up 8 hours late.
Yeah. You think it's true?
No. I think we would
have
have heard by now if he shows up 8 hours late.
I could probably see that, but I mean, it's one thing showing up 8 hours late and they're expecting you, and then there's another thing showing up 8 hours late and you've kept them in the know. Hey, I am still running behind here. Continue whatever you got to do. I'll get.
No, they're saying all the time, like daily. They're saying that was a thing. And
well,
I don't
are they
think,
getting paid, and are they working past their hours? I mean, I guess those kind of things I have to take into account.
You got to go and read it. I was gonna read the article, but the article he must have saw it. It's long, so like, and you can't. It's like there's no cliff notes. You got to read every paragraph. You got to read every sentence because like it just gets better and better and better.
And peeing in a water bottle,
I think depending on what side you're on.
That's the social utility of being a man, being able to pee in the water bottle, right? We can't pee in huh?
And I was like, man, that is not my final boss. My final boss is not pissing in water bottles.
Dude, what is he?
8 hours late.
If he can't,
you know what I'm saying?
If he can't piss in the regular restroom, where would you want your final boss to piss at?
In the sewer.
Where are you going to find a sewer if you can't find a bathroom?
Hey, look, I'm sure these $250 million sets got a nice porta potty.
He's not at the set. He's not at the set. That's the issue.
Then how they know he piss in water bottles? He bring them to the set with him?
Oh, stop.
For real. Hey, Rhodesia, they did say in the article that that Rock was so late that it cost them $50 million in reshoots, etc.
And we just know that's not true. Like we would have heard about that.
That's
$50 million.
That's a lot of money.
Come on, man. That's not the case.
The director of not the director of the actual movie, but the director of the set. And they probably should have pivoted, and they probably should say, "Hey, if he's late every day 8 hours, how about everybody come in 4 hours later?" How about
he's all about workers' rights, though. They said my man will not work over 8 hours. They said he refuses to work over 8 hours. I love that. I was like, all right,
that's the brother in him right there. That's the brother. I ain't working past 8 hours.
Sure did. So I was like, I don't know how they got him. So then my assumption is he saw the time he clocked on night one of WrestleMania, and that's why we only had him for the run-in. Remember, we thought the Bloodline rules was going to happen way earlier in the match. I think Rock looked down his watch and was like, that doesn't work for me. Dwayne, you only got the final boss for 30 seconds.
That only works
and that
was
what we got. Oh, all right.
Me, brother.
We said we were going to have a jingle for Terry Toss Tales. I got another one. Hulk Hogan previously taking credit for discovering Kevin Owens.
I'm going on mute.
Is what he said. When I saw Kevin Owens in NXT, which okay, you already saw him in NXT, so there's no way you discovered him. He was already in NXT, Hogan. But I digress. I watched 2 of his matches, and I watched him grind and chop meat. I went, there's a brother that's got heat. Everybody I talked to in WWE wasn't real high on him like I was. Now, remind you, he's already in NXT. The look, a lot of things he didn't have going for him, they pointed out. I said, no, I'm telling you, you give this guy a chance to get over, he'll grind. He fought that spot between the cadence to get himself over and shoot his angle.
I don't even know what that means.
What does that even mean? What does that even mean, Hogan? I love you so much, man. Why do you have to be a racist piece of crap?
Yeah. What did he say? What was that line?
He said, you talking about his last line?
Well, you jumped the rail and what?
He said he found that spot between the cadence to get himself over and shoot his angle.
Oh, and shoot his angle. Okay. I think he said he jumped the cage and shot his ankle.
I don't even know what that means. But point is, he discovered KO, even though KO was already in NXT.
And he probably was a champ by the time he saw that.
That is fantastic.
He might have to sell him to. He might have to sell him to Vince. Old nasty Vince was doing his thing back then.
That's true.
Possibly, but he lost us when he said he wrestled 2 matches in NXT and people were down on him. That's where he lost us. We know Triple H loved Kevin Owens, which is why he was in NXT. If he would have said he worked a couple matches in WWE, but that was Okay. But a good lie is a good lie. Keep them coming. Keep them
It's
coming. He was on
content for us.
he was on the 700 Club. I think actually today. I gotta do some market show research, and because I'm sure he gave us quotes for days and that bad boy.
Somebody sent me something, probably to us in a group. Somebody sent us something about him talking about Jesus. And
Our guy
I ain't
Billy
touching
Mays.
that.
Yep.
Oh,
He
okay.
sent that. He sent that to us. So
yeah, he's supposed to be saved. 700 Club
Mhm.
is more of a religious channel. Show. So
he did
Let's
say.
see.
You see when he cut the promo for it, he
Yeah.
was like, "What are you gonna do when Hogan and Jesus Christ run wild on you, brother?"
Yep. I was like,
I was
hey,
like-
look at Hogan.
Is that a little blasphemous?
I do wonder if like on the show, because like he's trying to repent, if he just says like the blacks instead
Oh.
of the N word with the hard R. I wonder if he just goes like the blacks or the darks. Maybe. I'm just asking. I don't know. We got a couple of actually some really good listener questions. Shout out to everybody that sent in questions over the last few days. Let's start with this one. This is actually probably one of the harder ones. Our guy Eternal said, name 5 feuds you want to see the most going into the new season now that the draft has concluded. He gave us, Eternal, you gave us 4, right? You asked us for 5, but you only give us 4. You said yours was Randy versus Cody, Gunther versus Ilya, and he said the WWE version of who's the best wrestler in the world. Third was Bianca versus Jade, and fourth was Drew versus Punk. I actually have 5. I do have 5. One is a
I
cheat,
have
though.
5 too.
What you got, Rhodesia?
Are we going in order? Like me, am I gonna just give you all
No,
5?
you just give us your 5.
Okay, so I have Sammy versus Gable. I have Seth and Damian.
Sammy versus Gable. Okay.
We have Liv and Becky. Punk
Okay.
and Drew. And this is just for fun. I have Tiffy and Naomi.
Okay. Those are good. And actually, majority of those we should be getting the next couple months.
All right. So I got real quick. I got Cody versus Rock.
Okay.
I want to see the Roman versus the Bloodline. This new Bloodline. I want to see that.
Okay.
I got Drew versus Punk.
Okay.
And as Internal said, I also have Bianca versus Jade.
You know what's crazy? And those are all great. Because you can't really go wrong with anyone that we pick. I completely forgot about Cody versus Rock. I think because I know like it's not going to be
I was
until
thinking
like a year from now.
like
But
within the next 3
if he
to 6
keeps
months.
showing up 8 hours late and pissing in bottles, we may get him. He may show up to Backlash. They may cancel all of his movies. I have Gunther versus Dragunov as well, of course. I have Punk versus Drew. I have Liv versus Rhea. That's the one I'm really excited for. My cheat one is Tiffany versus anybody. I don't care who she's in a feud with. I just want to see her in an actual feud on the main roster. And then I have Roman versus the Bloodline. That's probably my number 1. But who knows how long we're going to have to wait for that one. But yep, those are mine. Anybody listening, send me yours. Of course, either on YouTube, That's Freaking Wrestling, or X at That's FNW, and we'll go over it on Sunday show. What else we got? Eric sent a good one. So this whole thing with Death Rebel, this has to be a running joke at this point. You guys know, we've talked about Death Rebel. Yeah, they got some bangers, but man, do they have some shitters. Everything was all good until you touched Stephanie McMahon's music on Raw. When she came out and they added a rock element to her song, which was hip hop. I don't ask for anybody to lose their job. It may be time. It may be time for somebody to find some dirt on them, so they got to go. But
maybe she
he
wanted
asked,
a rock feel to it.
No, she didn't. Her original song was hip hop. So we're not doing that now. He said, as bad as their themes have been over the last few months, what would you say is your favorite? Eric said his is EO Sky.
Do we know for a fact EO is a Death Rebel song?
Even if it's not, I mean, he's just said over the last few months. So if it's, if we're still hearing it, let's assume.
No.
Let's assume. But who is some of your guys' favorite interest music right now? Like of all time, possibly, but it's current now.
I really like Escobar. Santos Escobar.
That
I
one
really
goes.
love that. That one goes.
Yep.
I'm hoping that might be Def Rebel because of how new he is to WWE. I have to think a little bit more.
E?
Well, definitely it's not a Def Rebel song. I'll tell you that much right now.
But you gotta say your best Def Rebel right now.
Oh no, I'm just saying, just right now, your
that.
your favorite, yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. You know what? So I might take that back because I do like Trick's thing. I'm
He's
not
number
sure if Def
one
Rebel
right now for me.
made it or not. And you know the inspiration for a song, right?
Mm-mm.
It's Kendrick Lamar.
Let's go.
Forgot the name of the song, but it was a Kendrick Lamar song. He had let them listen to like that song. He's like, "Yo, I need something like that."
Wow, really?
He was like, he said his first song.
DNA, maybe?
No,
maybe not.
No. Dang, I can't think of the name. It's a popular song too. I can't think off the top of my head. But he said his original song, he said it was nice, but he said it was more had more of a Chicago flair to it. And he's like, no, he more of a down south boy. So he needed something with some horns, some bass. And so he let them hear the Kendrick song, and they came back with that. And then when you listen to it, you hear the inspiration for it. But they did a really good job creating a unique song for him, but taking inspiration from the Kendrick Lamar song, and it really fit, right? Because then organically you're able to put that hook into it.
Yeah.
Then Booker took it over. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Def Rebel didn't make that song, and I'm trying to discredit them. I'm trying to continue to discredit them right now with the EO Sky song.
So who was that asked the question? Was it Eternal? You said?
No, it was Eric.
Eric, I'm gonna put some respect on your name. Def Rebel actually did Tokyo Storm, whatever it's called. EO's Tokyo
Yeah,
Shock.
that song is incredible.
Yep. So that's probably my favorite. And I'm looking up Trick Williams right now.
Well, my 3 currently, and actually Santos is probably like 4 or 5. But my 3 currently is Tricks, EOs, and Romans, of course. I like Jay's, even though all it is based off of the original Usos, but that goes too. So I mean, there's some good ones, but man, the plain ones, generic is generic.
Locked In, Trick Williams is produced by Def Rebel.
Hey. All right, I take it back, Def Rebel. For
so
every 20 songs that you suck on, you hit a banger, man.
Like a nice banger.
Which just tells me that.
No, they good for probably like 3 and 1. Every 3 bad songs, they're gonna give you a good one. That's not a good ratio.
You think it's 33%. I got it. What is 1 out of 6? What's that percent?
6 going to 100.
1 out of 4 is 25%. What, 18%? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I got them about 18%.
Because I feel like Jamerson back in the day. What's his my man's name? Was it Jim Johnson? Jim Johnson. Mm-hmm. I feel like he was putting out hits for years. Like, right, he was really capturing these wrestlers. And then I even feel like CFO put out more bangers than not.
Yeah.
During their time, I feel like they had some a really good catch. I feel like these Def Rebel songs, man, like more like the Steph song, the DIY songs, man. Like I just,
I do wonder though.
For laughs and giggles.
Yeah.
Because I do want to go down this, and I'm just looking at Apple Music right now, and I'm looking at Def Rebel and the songs they produced. So I would only imagine that this is true. I don't want to be like Terry Tall Tales here. But we have Jade's new music. I still like her old and better. We have Main Event Jay. We have Damian Priest. We have Roman. We have Trick Williams. We have Seth Rollins. We have LA Knight, Io Sky, Bobby Lashley. I don't know how that's the case because whatever. Jimmy Oso, naturally. A-Town Down, Gunther, Solo Sequoia, and we know we love that one. Mm-hmm. So I mean, they actually got some decent songs.
So then that tells me there's some BS in the game because the generic songs are so generic, like there's nothing to them. That's why they suck. There's nothing to them. All the ones you just named off, there's layers to those songs. Mm-hmm. So then, like, and we know Def Rebel is a group, so maybe like there's one person who was a killer.
Yeah.
And he only does like certain songs, and then you got somebody else or the other 2 people who is just copy and paste type music. But Some of those songs, they got to figure out.
Figure out for real.
But to E's point, Jim Johnson was, man, I don't want to say he batted 1,000. His hit rate was really, really close.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you were somebody that mattered on TV, your song was incredible.
Yep.
I still can't get out of my mind that documentary on him. And I was just even listening on to NPR today, and it was some artist on there. She was saying this last song is probably her favorite because in like 10 years, this is the first song that she did with everybody being in the studio. So all the instruments are real. It's not a computer. There are people who are actually playing instruments. And then I think about like Jim Johnston. And I was just thinking about like how he would first come up with a bass line on the piano, and then he'll harmonize something on top of it. Not saying that your CFOs and not saying that your Def Rebels, everything is computer generated, but I do think there's beauty in when you can make music from that actual instrument itself.
Yeah. Well, it is. Whatever. I guess he can keep his job.
Yeah.
Those are like 10
Those are
quality
some good songs. Those are some good songs.
10 quality songs.
Yeah.
Speaking of keeping their jobs, E, I know you got something on Bill Goldberg. But before we get to Bill Goldberg, did you see Miro is moved back to Bulgaria? You know, him and
No.
Lana broke up, so they're
I
getting
heard
a
that.
divorce.
Yeah.
But his return got pushed back, not because he moved to Bulgaria. I don't know if there's something with the creative, I think, or maybe his injury. I don't know. I didn't look too much into it, but yeah, he moved back to Bulgaria. It's like, damn. I remember they were living in Nashville, and I was like, Miro doesn't look like a guy who lives in Nashville, but he loved it allegedly. Maybe he just loved it because she loved it. But his return got pushed back. Shelton Benjamin was supposed to sign to AEW. His debut got pushed back or moved. They were saying it's because the person he was supposed to feud with is out injured.
Miro?
So I'm not sure who that is. And then Darby Allin got hit by a bus in New York.
Stop. How do you just you go all this and you just lay that one there and what?
Because
he
that's
okay?
how I feel like he got hit by a bus. Like how'd you get hit by a car, Darby? Like to the point where like I think it's like a broken foot and like a broken nose. Like what were you doing? And I'm not putting it on him. So I'm not.
Right. The pedestrian is usually right.
Correct.
So they're not.
But how does
They're
it keep
not.
happening to him? Like, dude, you don't do Mount Everest, but we're like, the universe is like, but we still gonna put you through some pain anyway. Go ahead and eat this car. He still showed up to his autograph signing.
Holy hell. For real?
Yeah. Pull it up. Look on social media. You'll see
Yep,
he's got a
definitely
picture
the nose
with
is
blood all in
broken.
his nose. And
Yep.
yeah, I just don't understand that. But thoughts and prayers to him because I don't understand how that happens. I don't know how you
leave
get
it
hit
at
by a
that.
car.
Thoughts and prayers to that man. I mean, I don't.
That's crazy talk. But you got some news, E, on William Goldberg.
Oh yeah, I sent you guys a text. Dirty Bill Goldberg. He's at it again. Because
What Bill did now?
Tony Khan responds to Goldberg calling AEW too cheesy. This is in an article, I believe, from Fightful. Bill wanted to work here, Tony says. I met with Bill several times. Bill was looking to work here. It's funny because I had a bunch of really nice meetings with Bill and would have honestly been interested in doing something. I have a lot of respect for Bill. I was surprised by that because that certainly wasn't what he said to me when he was talking to me about working here at some point, which I've always been open to, and I really like Bill. He really likes a lot of guys. So, like, Dirty Bill talks about, I don't want to work there. It's too cheesy. But Tony Khan is saying that, man, the dude, he met with the guy several times and joined the AEW.
And I believe Tony Khan 100% on this.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Of all the things you will call AEW, don't think cheesy would be on the top 10 things to call AEW.
He's a hater because that big money contract didn't come as soon as he thought. Or Tony Khan was like, actually, I just cracked the code. Tell me what y'all think about this one. They had a conversation. Conversation went great. They said, we're going to follow up.
Okay.
Hey, maybe we can get you for All In this year. We need something to add these extra 10, 15,000 people. Bill's like, man, I'm down. Just give me a call. Got no problem working All In. Tony Khan gave it a couple weeks, called him back, said, hey, got a plan for you. This is what we're going to do. And Tony Khan, because we know how Tony Khan likes to get down on his wrestling matches, he laid out a specific plan for Bill Goldberg to wrestle 22 matches leading up to All In, all on Dynamite, all going 18 minutes. And I think Bill Goldberg said, that's not what I do. I can't do that. If you want me just to come in, spear jackhammer somebody at All In for those millions of dollars, I'm down. And Tony just never called him back.
I wouldn't say
I cracked
20
the code.
matches, 18 minutes.
22 matches.
22 matches at 18 minutes apiece. I won't say that far. But he probably was like, yeah, you got to be in the storyline for some time.
He probably told him, the last person that we gave his undefeated streak left me, you got to beat that undefeated streak. So I think she wrestled, 51 matches, I think, 50
Something
matches, something like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He told Goldberg, look, man, we need you for 53 of them. He's like, there's 52 weeks in a year.
He get it.
Like, come on, just do the math on it.
Yeah. Got 53 Dynamites in a year. That's
probably why he called it cheesy. He's like, man, that's cheesy.
You know what? Y'all think about Goldberg. Goldberg's one of those wrestlers, you probably have to present him with the creative. He's not a guy that's going to give you creative and give you ideas. He's one of those times you got to bring him the creative, right? And so I think what happens is two things. I think, number one, the money wasn't right. And I think, number two, he probably didn't like the creative that they had in mind for him for a couple of appearances. I think the biggest would have been the money, is what I would imagine. But I will say a lot of the old-time wrestlers from that generation, they don't like the way that AEW does business. And they don't like the style of match there. So he may have thought had a feeling about it all along. However, if they was willing to pay him and they had the right match for him, he probably was open to go. But at the same time, this still Goldberg, man. Like, it's still along the lines we try to do with Oscar. Like, he's complaining about,
that's all it is,
man. Like the streak from like 50 years ago, right? And then a girl did it, and just the way he kept on, like, the guy wouldn't respond. He kept giving this look like, yeah, it was a girl. It was a girl. Like, okay, dude, I think he understands that you're trying to say something about a girl.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, he's like, why are you? This ain't the 1970s no more, man. Like, you put some respect on that woman's name, because she's a better wrestler than you ever were.
Hey, man, with her eyes closed. With her eyes closed. One hand.
And you know what? She probably could beat him up too. You know what I'm saying? Because she has to train to fighting, because he just was a big story guy.
Did you see how Io looked at how she looked at Becky on Raw? Did you see that interaction?
Down the belt and stuff.
Man, Io is like, she is one of my favorites. Like, just her facials. I don't know if she's intentionally trying to be funny, or maybe that's just like who she's presenting as her character. She is hilarious. Like, her facials, her taunts, when she taunts like for no reason in the ring. Like, she's incredible. I am excited that they're on Raw. That's one of the things that came out of the draft. They're separating them from Bayley, so now that's over. Even though there wasn't really a finish to me, kind of, with like the whole story with just Damage Control in general. I feel like we didn't get that stamp. Yeah, she won the title from Io, but I am happy that they've separated them now. Now they can go on Raw and got a whole new crew to wrestle. I do like that.
When we were doing the top 5 matches that we foresee coming, I had to think about that for a second, because I wanted closure with Bayley and Io myself. But I was like, oh shoot, they got drafted to Raw. But our insider joke, and I think we probably even said it here, Io constantly taps that analog stick. She taunts every time she has an opportunity. I'm surprised she still has a stamina bar. Is there stamina bar still in the games now?
Ashley, it increases stamina, Ashley.
Right. Now it does the opposite.
Nice.
Back in the day, you should kill your stamina.
Yes.
That's why she does it, probably, right? It gives her more energy. Like,
she taps it all the time.
We did forget my bad. So it was 2 Erics. Our other guy, Eric, he sent us a question, and really it's perfect timing. I saw you responded to him. He had asked us, who do we see Jade fighting at SummerSlam? And I think you said Bianca, right?
Yes, sir.
Rhodesia, who do you have?
I'm not sold yet on that being a singles match yet. So can I still just take the low-hanging fruit and say she's going to be in a tag with Bianca against insert tag team?
That's my answer.
Enough? Yeah, okay.
That's tag champs. Yep. I think they beat Damage Control or Kabuki Warriors. I think they beat them Saturday at... Oh, we didn't even...
Oh wait, we supposed to preview the PLE. Oh snaps!
Backlash is Saturday, and we
Oh,
didn't give
snaps.
one thought about previewing that show. And I guess that also, but being real, that shows the excitement level for this show.
Sheesh! Wow.
Pull it up, Rhodesia. Let's talk about it.
I'm already pulling it up.
Let's talk about it.
So
But
it is
yeah,
in
I think
France.
it's I think there's a lot of money in just the three of them because Naomi is also going to SmackDown. So give me a tag match, Eric, with them two versus whoever.
So I'm just on WWE right now, and it just says the Backlash preview. We have the Cody against AJ Styles. We have
No, stop right there, Cody.
Okay, so we'll do the breakdown. Who do
Cody.
you want to win? There we go. Cody.
Yes.
And then E, you say Cody, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay. I'm going to save this one for last. Okay, we have the Bayley versus Naomi and Tiffy in a triple threat for the Women's Championship. Bayley should
keep Bayley with Naomi taking the pin.
And then that can build the feud for Naomi and Tiffy that I was talking about. But go ahead.
Or Tiffy and Bayley, because she wasn't the one that got pinned.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yep.
Take the bet off Bayley. Give it Tiffy.
Damn, already.
Give it Tiffy time, huh?
Wow.
Tiffy time. I guess this is.
But you know what? But do we care? Like honestly, do we care who wins? Like, would you be mad or upset if any of those three
won
the title?
No, I wouldn't be mad at either of them.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if Becky lost the championship.
Becky or Bayley?
We didn't get there. We were talking about Bayley.
Bayley. My bad. Bayley.
Yeah.
Damn, you were really down on Bayley. She just won it. Mm-hmm. She's only had one title defense so far. But Becky's on this show, right?
Because Tiffy messed it up, right?
Yeah.
And in DQ. But so far on WWE right now, pulling it up on Tuesday evening, I do not see a match with Becky on here.
She does, remember? Because is it Liv? Who is she taking on?
I'm not sure. It's not on here.
It was on Raw Monday. I'm trying to think who it was, and she basically said like, "Oh, it is Liv." Because remember, it was Liv and Nia. She folded Nia up like an accordion with that powerbomb off that second rope. I was like, "Yo."
So you're saying it's a triple threat?
No, it's 1-on-1. That
so
match was for the number one contendership.
Got it. Okay, got it. All right. We have Orton and KO versus Solo and Tama.
There is no way the New Bloodline loses.
And that's what I'm thinking in my head.
Yep, no way.
You think we get a debut?
Ooh.
A debut?
Ooh.
Do you? Ooh. So now, let me answer a question with a question. Do you need a debut to beat Orton and KO?
This is Tama's first real defense.
And this is Solo's
match.
First match as who he is now.
Mm-hmm. And Solo keeps saying winning matters. Ugh. I don't know if you need a debut. If you take a debut, if we get a debut, I'll take it. But I can't see the New Bloodline not winning that match by hook or by crook.
What you think, E?
Definitely, I'm going to New Bloodline. I wouldn't mind seeing like a debut because I think part of the reason why, honestly, Backlash, I think this is probably one of the more forgettable POEs they've put on.
Yeah,
because there was so much talk about the draft, right? And I think people are more excited for the draft than is for this POE. Because I just don't think, and you think about the course of WWE, they've been promoting like this draft more so than the Backlash.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a new debut at least would add a little something to the show, because if you weren't run out the card really quick, I mean, most of the matches you can kind of assume the ending.
That's what it feels like, yeah.
Like you look at most of them, you can kind of assume who's going to win these, right? Like I know we're going to doing a whole rundown right now, but if you really look at these matches, you can kind of predict who's going to win these matches for the most part. Because
it ain't much left either.
And I feel like they haven't really gotten into like a real feud with these guys because it's coming so quickly after Mania. Right, so we're coming off the Mania hangover, right? Then we just had the draft, and now we're having like the Backlash.
And okay, maybe I'm tripping, but that match is not officially announced for the pay-per-view. But Liv is the number one contender, I believe.
Okay,
but
it's not on here. It's not.
Maybe they haven't announced it, and you might not get that match.
Yeah, so maybe they'll main event that on a Raw soon.
Yeah. So we have you mentioned tag team. So you got Kabuki Warriors and Bianca and Jade. I think you already showed your hand. You said you want Bianca and Jade to win.
Hell yeah! I've been talking about this for months now. We here now. We at the finish line. I can't switch now.
If I want what I want, I would say that I want Bianca and Jade. Again, that just comes with such a tall order that I'm just scared that, and I'll just be as transparent as possible, that Jade is not going to be shown in the best light that she should be in. Because in my mind, Jade is one of the people who are going to be the future of the company. And I'm just scared that she gets now that spotlight and she's a main staple because she's
you
a tag
guys
team
really
champion.
think she sucks?
I don't think that. No. And
yeah, you do.
Who's you guys? What?
You the same way. You said you want her to work NXT for 9 months. I ain't forgot that.
Oh, I said that. No, I said that. And I stand by that.
He did too.
He
was like, man, make her the face of CW. I remember that.
Man, I said that a year ago. And see, right now she's in the good spot because she's in the tag team. I think you're gonna see more of what she's been doing for the past couple of weeks. She's in there in short spurts, and she's always. So this is one thing I was saying because, like, we're talking about AEW the other day, and like Anna Jay, for instance, right? She's been on that show for a long time. She looked better in that last match. She looked better in that last match, but for years she had signature spots, and her signature spots didn't look good, like right. And I think there was a time where Jade's signature spots didn't look good. She can hit her signature spots now, like right. She can hit her signature kicks. She got her all her signature stuff is down pat now, and that's all she really needs to kind of do, right? She comes in a tag team. She's the hot tag girl. She is
not there to say.
Does her power moves, boom, 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 in and out.
Yep.
She ain't paid by the hour. I think them hiding her in the tag team is the best thing possible, right? Because Bianca's gonna be is gonna be getting the heat, right? She's gonna come in, tag in. She's gonna clear house, hit her move, in and out. I think we're gonna see new tag team champions.
And now my favorite match of the night is the heavyweight championship. We have Priest versus Jey Uso. So I might want Jey to win.
If Jey won and this be his pay-per-view, like, or PLE. Like, this is what Backlash 2024 is remembered as, is that crowd yeeting, right, all over themselves in France for Jey. I don't think that's the plan. And it's not like, and then you can also say that's not fair to Damian too, because you want to talk about transitional champs. We were talking about Swerve, and that would have been a 4-month if he loses it at All In, which I don't even know if that's even a plan now. But he hasn't even had really a defense, a real one. So I don't think you do that to Priest.
No, but he also didn't win it fair either. So he won it.
Money Bank's never fair.
I get that, but his reign started with I'm not calling it an asterisk, but his reign started not the traditional way. So I can see that, and I feel that
Money in the Bank champions start the traditional way. They all is that way.
That's true.
But more like I'm already at like next week. So if Jey doesn't win, okay, what's next for Jey? I just feel like he's stuck. Like, I feel like he's stuck with his promos. I feel like he's stuck with his work. He's so popular. He's so over. He's still like a top 2 merch seller. But we talked about music earlier. You know how when you are on your favorite artist before they pop, and you just like, man, you don't know about this person. Like, you may see them at that 2,000, 3,000 seat venue, and then they drop that album and they blow. And then now you got to go to an 18,000 seat arena, and then the DJ gets on and he's like, where's my day ones at? And the crowd cheers, and then they play a day one song. You like, this ain't day one. This is like day like 5,266. I was on his first album. I was on her first album. This is like her fifth album. That's how I feel about Jay right now. Like, I just feel like he's stuck in this mode because Yeaton is working. He's selling merch. He's entertaining. He's got the crowd in the palm of his hand. So it's kind of like, all right, well, he's good. Bloodline ain't come back no time soon. So he's not going to be involved in that. We know Jimmy's hurt. So he's going to be off TV he didn't even get drafted. So he's going to be off TV for a while. I'm just worried that they do something with him. Like, okay, now he's about to start feuding with Logan Paul for the U.S. title, because their interaction they had on Monday. And I think that is such a step down for him. But I'm going to have to go Priest.
It'd be interesting. I mean, I don't know if that's what they were going, because Paul's on SmackDown. And Jay just got, redrafted to Raw. So I don't know if we see that anytime soon. But like I said, I'm not as down on Jay as you are. But I certainly think that I feel like this they're putting themselves in a bind with this match, because you can't give Damian a loss, or can you? Like, you shouldn't beat Jay again, right? Because he lost to Gunther. He loses again to Damian Priest. Now they can kind of bail themselves out if they have some kind of interference, with the bloodline. I mean, not the bloodline, excuse me. Judgment Day. Because Judgment Day and Damian Priest, they aren't on the same page. So something happened. Maybe something happens with them, right? Because they've been giving him interference, things of that nature that he hasn't asked for. It definitely seems like Damian is trying to be a defending and just champion, or whatever the case may be. It seems like he has like a turn coming pretty soon. So maybe something happens with the Judgment Day that kind of can blanket Jay or Damian Priest. Maybe that's where we go. But I'm definitely with you. Like, I don't want to see Jay with another loss.
So are you saying you thinking like Finn costs, or yeah, let's go Finn, because Finn was the one that got pinned on Raw Monday, and then Damian had to look behind him like, come on, man. So you saying like Finn costs Damian the championship, or he helps him win the championship or retain the championship?
I'm thinking it's like, so for me, if Jay loses, Jay loses. Like, right? So like, it's another loss. And you can say like, oh, it wasn't fair play, and it was 4-on-1 or whatever the case may be. It's still another loss, right? It's still another top baby face. He has the crowd, right? And I feel like you can't have top baby faces in that position lose too many times, especially the big ones. Because then you start believing in them. Like, right? They get to the big match, they have all the pump and stomp, and then they get there and they can't win. I think that either the bloodline does something and they throw the match out, because they don't. This match doesn't have to end the show, right? It can be somewhere in the middle. It can start something like that, to where they can have other things to kind of wipe the taste out of your mouth, Cody, because it's the bad finish, right?
Cody should
that's going to go on last, right?
Cody and AJ, yeah.
So you can do something to where maybe the Judgment Day comes out and they throw the match out.
Gonna lose. Damn, man.
Right? They can do that, or maybe Finn, does cost Damian, but at the same time, I feel like that's microwaving that feud.
Right.
Like, right? So,
but maybe they need to, because Rhea's out. So maybe they pivot from what they had planned with the Judgment Day. You know what? I'm changing it. I've listened to you, and Rhodesia, you still got to give your thoughts. I'm changing my pick. I'm going with Jey Uso, and I'm only going with Jey Uso because of what you said in regards to Finn could accidentally cost Damian the match, but it's not really an accident. Then they feud. But when Cody left Raw, he handed Jay the keys to the kingdom. And why would you hand him the keys to the kingdom if he is not going to be the top guy on that show? I'm going to say Jay with the upset. I'm talking myself into it.
I would like to see that, actually. I would like to see Jay win, because I don't think Damian really loses that much. As Rhodesia said, like, right, he won the championship, sneak attack. Well, not sneak attack him, Drew, but it wasn't like he had a straight up match. So he doesn't win. He doesn't lose a lot, right? I think Jay has more to lose in this encounter. What say you, Rhodesia?
And that's pretty much kind of where I was at. I said that although I had been championing Damian for being the champion, no pun intended, for the last year and a half, we are here now. And I know y'all always talk about that's the whole reason why you get the baby face, always working from underneath or from the bottom, however your phrasing is. I just don't think that. I can keep supporting Jay if he keeps losing. I know he's helly over, helly hot. He gets that crowd going. I get that. But again, I'm just looking at me as a fan. I can only speak for my own feelings. I just can't, I think, take another Jay Uso loss. If you do, it got to be something like with Finn and either the New Bloodline or Judgment Day. But Jay can't lose. It's almost what
And
I
it
feel.
shouldn't be that
Because
way.
if he does, it got to be a real screwy ass finish.
Yeah.
A real screwy finish.
But that also shows, too, how the Mania match didn't work. He beat Jimmy. We shouldn't be sitting here talking about he can't lose again. He just won.
Yeah.
He
Well,
won
we know
the
Jimmy
biggest
wasn't
match
the
of
same
his
level,
career
so-
and let him tell it and let the way they wanted it to be. But that just shows how flat that match was. I got one more question for us before we get out of here. CM Punk and Drew. How much longer until we stop caring, until they wrestle? Like, I thought Punk was going to say on Raw Monday, like, I'm cleared and I'm coming for you. Not a Backlash, of course. But he said, when I'm cleared. When the hell that's going to be? Like, I'm almost getting to that point with them where I'm like, okay, because you can only do so much because you're not building to a immediate match. So I don't know when they plan on having this match. But, like, even like that segment on Raw Monday, it was fun just because we get to see Drew and Punk engage. But for me, it was kind of flax. I'm just like, all right, now what? So, like, for you guys, how much more invested or how much longer can you be invested until you're like, you know what, I don't really care until they wrestle?
Your exact question that I don't really care until they wrestle. I'm probably there now. And there's just no knock there. I only have so much energy that I can invest into storylines. And until I know that, up until just a few days ago, we didn't know if Drew had resigned. So then now that makes me feel a little bit okay. Maybe I can start investing my energy in it. But again, we don't know when Punk is truly cleared. So for me, I'm willing to say the opposite. Like if Jay loses, then like I'm gonna start losing interest in Jay. That's a different feeling versus me losing interest between Drew and Punk. Because right now it's just gonna be like there's just no energy there until they're ready to warm that one up. Whereas if Jay loses, I'm gonna start like losing not respect, but losing that interest in him.
Dang, man, you guys are like these new kids now. Well, it makes sense because Rhodesia is one of these
Here he go.
millennials. You know what I'm saying?
Bingo.
Here he go.
Like everybody got like these
at an hour and 5 minutes.
They got like these short attention
7.
spans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, they're trying to tell a story here. Like the great thing about Punk is that you don't see him every week. So you can't really get like when he comes to Raw on the show, it's almost like it's an event onto itself. It's not almost like Roman Reigns is, right? But you don't see Punk every week. And so you're not going to see the dynamic between he and Punk every week, right? You're going to see him pop up every now and then. I would imagine until when Punk's ready to go, if they continue to have interactions, they're going to make it entertaining somewhat because Punk is going to be entertaining. Drew is entertaining, right? So you're going to have that. And in the interim, you're going to have whatever's going on with Sheamus and Drew, right? They're going to have things like little segues before you get to the main event. It's kind of like I said, for me, like I watch a lot of anime. So like in anime, you have these things too. You might not see two characters interact again for like 6 or 7 episodes, right? And these are only like 20. Like the thing about anime, they're only like 20 minutes, right? So you might. I'm waiting like sometimes like 4 months in order to get a follow up. But in the interim, there's little storylines that these guys have been doing right until they get to the main event. I think that's what you're going to get with Punk and Drew. Like I don't like. It'd be different if you saw these guys interacting weekly, right, with no fisticuffs and it's kind of the same in, same out, them just talking, running away from each other. Yeah, I absolutely understand what you're saying, but I don't think you're going to see these guys interacting very often until it's time to get down to it. And Punk said that he's feeling great, and so it sounds like right now at this juncture, it's more of WWE like, yo, we need to make sure you 110% when you come back, brother, because like we can't have you out 6-7 months out of every year, so let's get you healthy, let's get you right so you can come back and knock it out for us this next year. So I think we're going to be fine because I think they're going to pace themselves with this feud. And
I think too, and now Drew's hurt, he hyperextended his elbow. This is why he had that big elbow padding on Monday. So we don't know. The rumor was he was going to be off TV for a while. Granted, he didn't know physicality Monday, but now that's going to be interesting to see. Does that push it back? Are they to E's point? Are they slow building this to Survivor Series or SummerSlam, which is in August, or do we get it at Money in the Bank or one of the other PLEs?
I like SummerSlam. And again, I want to give a round of applause to, once again, production. You had that quick stare when Drew was taking off looking for CM Punk. You had Sheamus take a look at him. And I just like those little nuggets that they do. Like, okay, last time I remember them going at it, that was WrestleMania 39. So in the future, whenever that future's happening, we can revisit that.
Give me Sheamus and Braun Breaker.
Mm,
Man, you want
which be your
to
top
put
five?
Braun Breaker through the paces real quick? Sheamus is the guy. Sheamus is your APA. Sheamus is your Bob Holly back in the day without taking liberties on the talent. He's your JBL. He's your Dudley Boys. Give me that. I'll buy a ticket for that. That's what old school people say. I'll buy a ticket for that.
Mhm.
All right. E, you got anything else you want to bring up before we get out of here, man?
Yes. Thank you to all our friends and followers of the podcast. Keep spreading love. We appreciate it. We had a great month of April.
Hey,
We're looking to have a great May. So thank you for supporting us. Thank you to everyone who shows up for the pod and listens and spreads the good word. We really appreciate you. We couldn't do it without you.
And with that, we out of here. I guess we'll do a Sunday breakdown of the pay-per-view that we just remembered to preview. Backlash. So we'll be back on Sunday. Peace.